Hey folks, this episode is coming to you in part by Great Moments in Weed History, a podcast from Spoke Media that delves into humanity's 10,000 plus year relationship with cannabis to discover its humor, heart, and history. The co-host, Abdullah Saeed and David Bienenstock, aka Bean, blaze joints and explore the complex and fascinating past of weed and weed culture. Everything from Barack Obama's time getting high to an exclusive first-hand account of the Hollyweed sign. You can listen to this show now in Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and get your life and maybe blaze yourself. Who knows? My whole life has changed since you came in. I knew back then you were that special one. I'm so in love, so deep in love. I don't know where that like extra breath thing comes from that I do. I just like it. You make my life complete. You are so sweet.
Oh, shit.
Competes. Glad you came into my life. You blind me with that ass. With you, I have no sight.
The people are just waiting on the mixtape.
Well,
they're just waiting.
Maybe you don't have to wait too much longer. Who knows? Maybe I'll just do, like those old school infomercials for CDs or the song titles of the covers just scroll by.
Yes.
While I sit on a stage and bellow to you foolishly for whatever reason.
That would be a great YouTube video.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I am Tiwa Savage because her video was amazing. Her latest video.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the Beyonce thing. I am Gail King.
This is The Read.
Hallelujah.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode. Let's just jump right into it. Black Excellence this week. Very special to me, especially. Because I just happened to be on Because of Them Weekend, looking at the new Excellent Black Stories. I read this headline that stuck out to me. It says 2 Black restaurant owners just pay the balances of 30 seniors at Clark Atlanta University.
Oh, wow.
I love hearing about Black people paying off other Black people's debt, especially student loans, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Everybody understands where that comes from, right? So I read on, and I see here that none other than Pinky Cole.
Pinky!
Of the quite successful viral sensation, Slutty Vegan, owner and extraordinary, as well as Stacey Lee, who owns Harlem Hops.
Okay.
Right here is a craft beer bar in the city I'm also familiar with. They joined together and decided to pay it forward since the Lord has been blessing them with success in their businesses, their restaurants. They decided to reach out to their own school, their own alumni of Clark Atlanta.
Oh,
themselves.
Got it.
Apparently Pinky was Miss Clark Atlanta, which I didn't even know.
Of course she was.
Right. And I guess after reaching out to the school, they got a list of students who wouldn't be able to graduate because of their outstanding balances or whatever. And so they chose 30 students from that list to pay their outstanding balances from. Now, the reason that I love this so much is because Pinky used to own a fucking juice bar right outside my building when I lived on Lenox a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so I used to always see her and she would just be super nice and give me juice. And like she knew of Kid Fury and the Read and stuff. So she'd be like, bitch, we need to give you a show. We need to do all of this. And we would just shoot the shit when I would come home sometimes or when I would be, because I would always see her outside the building.
Yeah.
And she used to have some really cute trade in there sometimes working in the juice bar. And they were always nice to me because she was nice to me and they worked for her. Right. So we just got along swimmingly. So I was ever surprised. I knew that Slutty Vegan was doing super successfully. I think they had a pop-up here not too long
Oh,
ago.
yeah, and the lines were ridiculous.
By the time I got out there, the line was around the block and they said, we ain't even got no food, so you might as well not even get in that line.
Absolutely done. Me and Asante used to go to her Caribbean restaurant before it burned down, and that was when she moved back to Atlanta. And she was like, I actually was not trying to make oxtail for the rest of my life anyway. Let me go ahead and do something that I'm super passionate about. And now look at Slutty Vegan.
It says here, the school motto at Clark Atlanta University is, I'll find a way or make one.
Wow.
So, the definition.
Pinky internalized that. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So, big ups to y'all.
That's so great.
Congratulations on the successes of your restaurants, your businesses, and shout out to y'all for giving back and being awesome and inspirational. And I love y'all. You're the shit. And they're also apparently members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So shout out to y'all as well.
Don't forget it.
You can't forget it.
You cannot.
It's not there for no reason.
Just like elephants, don't forget.
So today in our pop culture segment that is called Hot Tops, How to Train Your Bottom. Lots to discuss. Let's start with Toot It or Reboot It. I should ask Dwayne to put an effect.
Yeah, we need we need a little short jingle like Kia does for the Past 3 clip.
So many reboots.
Really?
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if there are a number of websites that are just dedicated to keeping track of all of the reboots that are announced.
Okay.
But okay, so many streaming services, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is just tossing their dick into the ring.
Right. About that. I'm not paying for 58 different streaming services.
My word.
I'm just not.
So many of them have the incentive.
They do.
That is calling me
They do.
to where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't one of them, but I'll just start with them. NBC Universal is launching a streaming service that they are calling Peacock.
Okay, I get that. That's their brand.
The first programs they've announced are, first of all, this will matter to nobody sitting here at the table, but maybe some of y'all. They're rebooting Battlestar Galactica, which at least maybe you've heard of.
I heard of it. Never seen an episode or anything else.
Quite popular sci-fi series from Once Upon a Time. They're bringing it back. I believe, Laura, is his name Sam Esmail? The guy who created Mr. Robot. I want to say his name is Sam.
Another show I've never seen.
I don't know how to say her last name, sir. I'm sorry, but Mr. Robot's really good. And so he is going to be working on that remake of Battlestar Galactica. But the one more discussed recently has been this reboot of Saved by the Bell.
Lord.
So yes, Peacock will be delivering a new Saved by the Bell series. It says here on Hollywood Reporter, the new straight-to-series comedy explores what happens when California Governor Zach Morris gets into hot water for closing too many low-income high schools and proposes the affected students be sent to the highest performing schools in the state, including Bayside High. The influx of new students gives the overprivileged Bayside kids a much needed and a hilarious dose of reality. Thank you, Leslie Goldberg at Hollywood Reporter, for that tidbit of information. So interestingly enough about this, Elizabeth Berkley, who played Nomi, she played Jessie Spano, and Mario Lopez, who played Slater, are coming back to reprise their roles, and you guessed it, they're parents now.
Of course they are. And
I guess they kids go to the school.
I was like, they're either parents or
teach
teachers,
or whatever, both. And so they're excited about the show coming back and all of that stuff. What I found very interesting was that Mark Paul Gosselaar, I never knew how to say his last name, said that he found out about this shit just the same time as the rest of us. So they wrote Zach Morris's character as, I guess, being this conservative asshole governor in California who is sending all the kids from the ghetto schools to Bayside High, and then the rich Bayside kids and the inner city kids. I don't know what this is supposed to be about, and I won't be watching it. But good luck.
That doesn't, I mean, first of all, Zach Morris's character, it's hard to believe that fool would have ever been elected governor. But again, Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected governor of California, so maybe it's not that big of a stretch. But then if he's supposed to be so conservative, why would he send all these low-income kids to rich schools?
I mean, I'm assuming the conservative part. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It just sounded like...
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to be in it, that seems kind of like, are we never going to see this governor? It's just going to be like, oh, the news, but the governor's not actually in it.
I mean, I don't know at all.
No, we don't. Right? Of course, you don't know.
He just said that he didn't know nothing about it, or he didn't know they were as far along, or whatever. And he is playing the role of the dad on Mixed Dish alongside Tika Sumpter.
That's him.
Mm-hmm.
You're shitting me.
Go look at the trailer. That's Zach Morris.
What? Are you serious? Okay, so the very first trailer that came out, that was
Long
not
way to
him.
fall. No, it wasn't. It was the guy who played the cousin, I think, on Blackish once. And a bunch of people were like, isn't that the same nigga who played Bo's cousin or something?
Damn, so did they recast him?
Maybe, because I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so when he said that he was on Mixed Dish, or he said something in relation to this NBC thing that like, oh, you know, I'm with ABC right now.
So you probably can't do it. Yeah.
I don't know. But I was like, he's in Mixed Dish as who? And I went back and watched the trailer, and sure enough, there he was in some wheat tunics and shit.
Okay.
Hugging the mixed kids.
Well, I mean, good for him. That does make sense then, because obviously if you're doing a sitcom on ABC, you cannot do a sitcom on NBC.
I mean, it depends on your paperwork.
Yeah, but most networks are not going to let you get away with that.
Most networks probably would just be like, oh, girl, forget it.
Right. We'll just cast somebody else. So it's not that big of a deal.
I'm assuming they're just going to reference the character.
Right.
You know, maybe they'll call him to do like a cameo in an episode once for a couple minutes.
Maybe he can do that.
Maybe he can do something like that or whatever. Or maybe they just have no desire to work with him.
Maybe they're like, we'll just hire somebody else. Or it'll be like, you know, those cartoons and shit where you never see this one character. Or like on Home Improvement where you never saw Wilson's face. But
that was the gag.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole bit was that you never saw his face.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case for Zach ever. So it would just be strange to reference the main character of the show.
That's a good point.
And never have him. So I'm assuming they're just going to use him as a sort of plot device, or use his name as a plot device for the beginning of the series and then just go from there. And they'll probably, you know, have some pop-ups from whoever still got their wits about them in the cast. You know, that cast has gone through a bit.
Yeah. I wonder, where is Lark Voorhees these days?
Hopefully in Immense Prayer.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm serious.
Oh, wait, no, she did have a time where she was really going through it.
She was going through it.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. And then the other one was playing with doo-doo on some porn. I don't remember.
Screech?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He had like a scat video or something that
I remember him being on one of them bullshit reality shows. I think on VH1 or something, like Data.
What was that one called? The
like
Surreal Life?
Oh, maybe no. The Surreal. Well, hell, it might have been,
or maybe it was. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I just don't remember which one it was
because it don't really matter. There's a million of them shitty shows.
It truly does not.
So, yeah, this doesn't sound good.
It doesn't.
It doesn't sound like a reason for me to subscribe to Peacock. Not by itself. What else y'all got?
A Punky Brewster reboot.
Well, all right now. Oh wait, reboot. I thought you meant like
sequel series.
Okay.
It's Punky Brewster as a single mom. I think I read that she has 3 kids, and then there's some other child that reminds of her a lot of her as a child. It's like the reboots be the same thing too. It's just like, let's see if we can get a deal with the motherfucker that played them before.
Yeah.
Give them some kids that were just like them when when the show was on, and hilarity is supposed to ensue.
Wow. Is the same girl gonna play Punky Brewster? What's her name?
Yeah, I think she's reprising her role as Punky Brewster, but then she's like a mom now.
Okay, well, sure. This just, like, honestly, Raven paved the way for all of these fucking reboots.
Did she?
I mean, I can't remember a whole like slew of these shows coming out where it was like a continuation of something that happened 10, 15 years ago. I don't.
I feel like there were a lot of them.
It seems,
maybe not kids programming.
Maybe that's it. But it just seems like
all
it's
that
been
is back
very
now
recently. Yeah, I don't. Maybe, I mean, I will be more willing to check this out than the Saved by the Bell reboot, but hopes are not high.
A boot to By the Bell. I'm going to give Battlestar Galactica a boot, but that's only because I was never interested in it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Punky Bootster, she can go as well.
Well.
Apparently, they're also remaking House Party. So
the movie?
the film.
Okay.
Of the year 1990.
Right. Of which there are already 3.
4 if you include the one with Immature in it that nobody watched.
Okay, didn't even know about that one.
Oh, yeah.
But all right, there's already 4 of these. Yep. So what are we doing?
So most of you may know the Kid and Play classic that we all know and love. Sidebar, House Party Theory is the best house party. House Party Theory is the funniest house party. Not necessarily the best one.
Okay, because I think the first one is the best one.
The first one, you know what? I always like Pajama Jam better.
What was that, the second one?
Yeah. I always like the second one better than the first one.
I probably need to go back and rewatch
I think the best one is probably the best. The first one, I mean, is probably the best film altogether. And then the rest of them were like hijinks and stuff.
Yeah.
But part 3 has motherfucking Bernie Mac in it. And that whole table scene where Bernie Mac and that old ass auntie got into an argument with kids' girlfriend or his fiance's family. That was like Lord. Black. Just go back and watch.
Yeah, because it's been a long time.
That movie is funny.
Okay.
Plus TLC is in it.
I will.
And Immature was in that one too as kids. Maybe that's why they did the 4th one.
Maybe
that 4th one was awful. I think it was produced by Chris Stokes. It sucked.
Okay.
Anyway, and I only know that because I have one of those, those movie collections from Target and shit. Yeah. Where it'd be like $10
for all of them.
For all of them. It was the first 3 houses and they stuck in the 4th one like we were interested.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're remaking House Party. Cal Maddock is the person directing it. The black man who apparently directed the Old Town Road video. So he's leaping over to the big screen. But wait, there's more. LeBron James is producing with Spring Hill Entertainment. It's going to be written... Stephen Glover,
okay,
Donald Glover's brother, Atlanta, and Jamal, I don't know how to say your last name, sorry, Jamal Alori. Sorry if I butchered it. It says here on Hollywood Reporter that they're working on the script. So, I mean, there's some names in here I trust. Well, yeah, Atlanta's funny. The Old Town Road video was good.
Okay, yes.
I don't know that I've ever watched anything that LeBron James has produced.
I think... Well,
besides the clip of that.
Yeah, that HBO show that I don't think I need to look at that no more.
I saw the clip of the one that with Drake in it too, where he's talking about Kanye.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
But that was it. Which Taylor Swift just brought up again. Did you read that?
I didn't read the story, but I saw the headline and was like, nope.
Mama was like, he did the same thing to Drake. Go back and watch the video. He did the same thing to Drake.
Girl, you lied and got caught up in your lie.
The thing is though that she didn't.
She didn't lie?
She did. Well, she did lie about having a conversation with them at all, which was the mistake.
Right.
But I don't think that she lied about what she's now trying to say, which is, well, I never heard that I made that bitch famous part. Because...
well, yeah, I mean, I think it's totally possible that she didn't hear that, I made that bitch famous.
The clip that they played you was him saying, the line of... I feel like me and Taylor could still have sex or whatever. And I always felt like, well, if that nigga said that and you were cool with it, I couldn't imagine that you were upset with the rest of it.
I don't see how that is okay. And I made that bitch. Well, maybe that's an ego thing.
I just don't know why we're still talking about it.
Why is Taylor
still talking about it? Didn't you want to be removed from the narrative?
Didn't you? And hasn't this been like several years now? Like
we don't like one of y'all now. So why don't
let it go, sister? And it's not like we over here loving Kanye either, girl. So let's just all move the fuck up from this. Like
this nigga over here trying to remake the Prince of Egypt soundtrack, and we're just not even interested in that.
I'm not doing that. I'm really not doing none of Kanye's music, especially not this fake gospel shit that he's been talking about lately. Y'all can keep every last bit of that. So I think my thing about these reboots is that they must be successful if every fucking body is doing them. Like they must be.
Well, that's the thing.
They must be making money. They must be having the ratings because it wouldn't be such a popular trend if they weren't.
Exactly. That's the thing. It doesn't matter the quality of them most of the time because a lot of the time people make their money back just because motherfuckers go see it. You know, it's just enough to be like, oh, this is something I've heard of before. Let me look at. A lot of people don't even watch it with, the expectation of it being good. A lot of y'all motherfuckers go to the theater just to see how bad it is going to be. Or, even sometimes it's not bad and you just still claim you don't like it because it wasn't as good as the original. None of that matters to the studio as long as you gave them your money.
Yeah.
So that's why they keep happening, because they make money, whether they're good or not. So,
I mean, the same thing with the TV shows, though. It's like the ratings must be good for these reboots because people continuously do them. So.
At the end of the day, if you sign up for Peacock because you were just a huge fan of Saved by the Bell and you were just curious and you watch it, that still gives them numbers that they can print out and put in front of some people and say, give us more money.
True.
That's it. So take it or leave it.
You also don't know if you're going to hate it unless you watch it.
Right. Some of them are good.
Right. So, like, I really do love the Raven reboot. Raven's Home. That. I really like it.
I don't. I trust that Raven is still funny because I think that Raven was just funny her whole career naturally.
She's pretty good.
So I figured that at least we'll get the classic Raven. Because the reason that That's So Raven is still funny to me is because Raven is funny.
Yeah, she is.
There wasn't any there wasn't no directing her to make certain facial expressions or dances and stuff that she did that made that shit hilarious.
Right.
So I get that, but I think that some of it, like even the All That reboot, I've watched maybe the first episode because I think the first episode was up on YouTube. And I feel like if I was the age I was when the first All That came out, I probably would think that the shit was hilarious.
Okay.
But because I'm 32 and it's a kid's show, I'm kind of just like, oh, this is cute. But I'm good.
All right.
Also being rebooted, Set It Off.
What?
Issa Rae is in early development of a Set It Off reboot. It says on Variety, Ray will produce with plans to star in the project. Sarita Singleton and Nina Gloucester are penning the script. Montrell McKay of Issa Rae Productions will produce alongside Issa. And that's going to be a rough one. Here's the thing with like black classics, right? Yeah. We still watch them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
all the time.
I feel like I watched Set It Off within the last couple of months.
Yeah.
I definitely have watched House Party in the last year or so.
Yeah.
I watched them regularly. Set It Off still makes me cry like it just came out.
Right.
So I feel like it's like black classics. Might be harder because you working with us.
Right. And niggas are 100 times more harsh. Period. Off top.
But like there's Queen Latifah.
She's gone though. She died.
I mean, right. But I'm saying like Queen Latifah and her portrayal of that character is so classic.
Yeah.
Jada and Vivica and Elise, like did I say Elise? That's not Elise Neal.
It's not Elise
Kimberly
Neal.
Elise.
There you go.
That's why I always call her Elise Neal. I'm so sorry, ma'am. But anyway, it's just such a classic film, and we're so attached to those characters. And like I said, I feel like we watch those movies so often that, again, they'll probably make the money because niggas are going to go watch it.
Yeah.
But I won't be surprised if, even if it's not bad, niggas are like, well, I remember when, because it just is what it is.
Maybe instead of reboot, it's like a sequel and we pick up where we left off in Mexico with Jada's character and
I don't see how that would work.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It could be, but
I think it would be cool if it's just like the same sort of story, women on hard times who are just like, fuck the system and let's rob these niggas. But they don't name them Cleo. And, if they're like separate characters that are in similar circumstances, I feel like that would be more palatable than being like, here's your new Cleo and here's your new Stone.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting if we like not picked up where we left off, but like fast forward to today and we see where the other three girls are and maybe they get together for something or they go visit Queen Latifah's
ones?
Wait, do they all die?
Sweetie, each and every one of them died but Jada.
Wait, what am I forgetting?
The whole movie, I guess.
Okay, never mind. Because
like
I was
literally
thinking,
they all died.
Why was I thinking Queen Latifah's character? Oh,
Kimberly Elise, I believe, got shot.
Spoilers.
Kimberly Elise, I believe, got shot in the actual robbery.
Oh yes, that's right.
The cops infamously blasted Cleo out of space.
Right.
And then what does Vivica say? What the fuck does she say to she has the gun up to the guy and she says,
what's the motherfucking procedure?
Yes, that. And then she runs and she gets shot in the back
that's
while
right.
homegirl's on the bus.
You're right.
So they literally all died except
So that's
Jada.
why I was thinking, okay, see, I forgot them very important details. So that's why I was thinking, maybe we could like fast forward to today, the three girls meet up to like go pay homage or whatever, and then it continues from
there. Well, it's set in heaven. Or I don't
right,
know.
so never mind.
Purgatory, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll see what Issa does. I enjoy her projects, so.
Yeah, I'm willing to give it a chance, but I mean, I'm just saying, you guys, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, I mean, and just know off top that the Black reviewers are going to be so much more harsh.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even with I remember when I was talking about the Little Mermaid critiquing how everybody was upset that Ariel was Black. I'm like, even if she was white, a great percentage of y'all would have went and still picked the shit apart because of all of the ways that it is different than the animated one. Like niggas who took the Lion King and then like took screenshots from the new Lion King and then put the cartoon eyes over it and said, it should have looked like this. Bitch, go watch the cartoon. It's still out. Just as good.
Yeah, you could go watch that. So the point was this was supposed to be real lions, girl. That was the whole point. Thank you so much.
Also, coming back, because everyone knows the Boondocks, it is official. Its home will be HBO Max, which is a new Warner Media streaming service that's, I think, due out next year. The Boondocks has got a 2-season, 24-episode order.
Okay.
All of the other episodes of the Boondocks will be available on the service. Supposed to launch in the fall of 2020 with a 50-minute special. I read that Granddad and his grandsons, Huey and Riley, are living in a suburb in Maryland, only to see that it's been taken over by Uncle Ruckus. So Uncle Ruckus is like the official villain of the series, it seems. On Deadline, it says life under Ruckus turns out to be an everyday struggle to survive. I cannot wait for it. Like this, whatever, take it. Because I'm going to watch this.
Yeah, I really hope this HBO Max is included with my HBO subscription. I hope this is not like a separate thing that I'm going to have to pay for.
God bless.
Because I really want to see this.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I
need y'all. Come on, HBO, please. I give y'all so much money.
I read that a lot of other shows from Adult Swim, which is where the Boondocks originally lived, will also be available on this service, HBO Max. I guess that's a part of the whole Warner Media thing. Also, in terms of original programming for HBO Max, seems to be a new Gremlins.
Oh, no.
A prequel to the Gremlins movies called Gremlins Secrets of the Mogwai. So lots of new old faces to look forward to, girls. And I'm sure many, 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 many more to come.
Wow. Okay. So I just Googled it. It's being rebooted, but not as a movie. Like it's going to be just a series, I guess.
The Gremlins thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was never a Gremlins, of course. That has just never been me.
Yeah, I was scared of the Gremlins.
I'm definitely not watching this, but I keep coming back to, I'm just not spending $5 to $10 a month on 10 different services. I'm not. I have Netflix and Hulu right now, and I really doubt, and a cable package.
Yeah.
And so I really doubt that I'm going to go too much further than that. Like BET and this $10 a month for BET Go or whatever it's called, Sistren. It's not happening.
What's the incentive there?
Tyler Perry, all the Tyler Perry stuff, and some new shows.
Yeah, I have fun with that.
Yeah.
And then I got cable and Netflix and Hulu, Amazon Prime. Well, Amazon Prime, I guess it counts, sort of.
I mean, kind of. I don't usually watch stuff on Amazon Prime, but you can.
Great shows.
There are great shows on Amazon. Oh, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Fleabag.
Yes, never mind. I do watch Amazon Prime.
They got some good ass shows on there. Funimation and Crunchyroll, obviously, for my anime needs. Totally gonna get Disney Plus because duh.
Right. I will pay for and the Disney Plus is extremely cheap.
I think I just signed up for ESPN Plus. Hear me out.
I'm so confused.
I'm obsessed with MMA now. And
what? Really?
Watch some MMA on there. Yeah. MMA is very honest. I like it.
It's brutal.
Yeah, that's what's honest about it.
Okay.
It's human beings in their realest animalistic form. Here are my hands, feet, elbows, and knees. There are yours.
Okay.
And let's use them until one of us is bloody.
It's just so
or
bloody,
both.
yeah.
I love it. There's no holding back.
Okay.
There's no, sugarcoating anything or pretending that we're not monsters.
Right.
You see so much in society today that shows you that human beings are absolute garbage, monstrous people that don't give a fuck about the lives of minorities, children, anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in MMA, it's just like, no, I enjoy beating the fuck out of others for sports. But unlike World Star Hip Hop videos, they have boundaries. Like, there are rules.
Oh, there are rules.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So no one just surprisingly gets stabbed.
Yeah, no, you know what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you sign up for. And it's just like somehow more violent than boxing.
It's great
with
stuff.
less protection.
Right. Because see, I always enjoyed boxing. I think the reason I always like boxing and tennis is because it doesn't have as many moving parts as a football or a basketball.
Okay.
Or it's just me, you, fists, go. Ring the bell. That's it. Like, there aren't positions and all this other stuff. And MMA just takes it a step further.
Wow.
You get to beat a bitch ass like you are on the street. I love it.
This is a little dark, but
I just feel like it's honest.
But yeah, I mean, listen, if you like it, then I love it. It's not for me, but go off.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these apps, but I'm definitely getting HBO Max. Y'all can tell me about Peacock, and we'll see what else pops up. I'm sure there are plenty more to come.
God damn it. Wasn't the whole point of all these streaming services was to save like money and not have, like, I feel like a lot of people switched to streaming services and cut cable because it was supposed to be like all these different shows available on like a couple of platforms for less money. And no, you can't watch it live. Like, that's the big sacrifice. But
right.
So now like everybody is coming out with their own streaming services. Like, you girls might as well just pay for cable.
Because Hulu and Netflix have been so successful and have stormed the Emmys and Golden Globes and all of this stuff. So they're taken much more seriously than they were however long ago.
Yeah.
And so all of these other companies want to throw their hats in the ring and shit. Like, even The Office may really leave Netflix now with this Peacock thing because of NBC.
I saw that Parks and Rec is leaving.
Right. So now you might see that shit and it won't be a hoax this time. Who knows?
Okay.
So, girl, do what you can out here. The world is on fire. That was not... I just go to that with anything, honestly, because I hate the planet. In a recent Elle magazine... Why did I even pick this? Who cares? In a recent Elle magazine interview prior to Nicki Minaj's retirement, she discussed the album that she was, and likely is, still working on.
That's right.
And described it as fierce, fun, and unapologetic. And here are all of the generic statements that every artist makes about their album.
Right.
She said, "It's probably the most excited I've been about an album release in a really long time. This one incorporates all the things people love about Nicki, but it also just has a way bigger sound, so it goes perfectly with the Fendi collection." See, she's so good at this because she perfectly tied it into her other business.
Right.
Bitch, you ain't going nowhere, ho. You know how to do this. So like... she's pictured in like her new Fendi capsule collection or whatever, which I read has 127 pieces. Is that a capsule?
Right. That sounds like a full ass line.
Right. Girl, what? Okay.
See, I'm Googling Fendi and typed in Fenty. Let me try again. It's weird that she said this is the most excited she's been about an album release when she just put one out last year. Like, it was literally last August.
But I think she's acting like that one didn't happen. Or
but I mean, your fans loved it. The Barbs loved it.
I enjoyed a good portion of it.
Okay, there's that as well. So,
and I'm getting these Fendi glasses that she has on here with this like holographic gradient or whatever.
Oh, those are very you.
The moment I see them, I'm buying them. You can have my money for that, Nicholas.
Oh, this says she's making clothes for curvy girls.
Well, she's curvy.
Yeah, well, and it says making clothes for girls with my body. So
I read that she says she wants to feel like she's in the hood when in her Fendi. She wants to feel like she's back in Queens or, front row. My thing is, like, who is this for? Because a lot of the Barbs are incredibly young and likely either cannot or should not be spending their money on Fendi.
Yeah, Fendi is very expensive. So Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know who she thinks gonna. Well, honestly, I might, because I'm looking through some of this
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying. A lot of this shit is cute.
Right.
So maybe some of the girls who just like shit.
Like this fucking jacket, bitch.
This pink jacket?
The pink one and the silver one.
Yeah.
I want this fucking
The pieces
skirt.
are cute.
Yeah, they are. Like, this stuff is cute. So maybe she's just counting on it being cute and people buying it and not buy. Right. Yeah. Like, it's Fendi and it's cute. So get it.
Girl, get out your
shades
feels.
Are everything.
Woo, them
is cute.
I'm going to get them. I think it comes out I think it launches in October.
Yeah, October 14th is what it says for the website.
So yeah, get out your feels, girl, and get into the office of a good therapist.
Yeah.
And, get back to work. That's not, I mean, if you sincerely want to take a break, sure.
Right, feel free.
But all of the talk of retirements and all of
that I'm taking my ball
arguing
and
with
going
bloggers
home.
that we were not going to discuss anyway.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
put your foot back on next and get out your feelings.
I just keep scrolling through all this stuff because it is really cute.
It's really good. It's nice stuff. And I think that she also said that she's planning on launching her own, I guess, major designer brand at some point. She's just been extremely picky, and that's why it's taking this long and whatnot. But wishing you the best over there, sis, doing whatever.
Yeah, good luck with this, girl. If any of it comes in my size, I'm probably gonna get it. Just letting you know now.
Well, time for some really hard news, girls. Poor Felicity Huffman is going down, and she's going down hard. She's been sentenced as of September 13th to a hard and grueling 14 days in prison.
Hashtag pray for Felicity.
I read here on People that she's currently focused on spending time with her husband, William Macy. You may know of him.
Yep, heard of him.
Then daughter Sophia in Georgia. It says the family is hanging in there. Spending time together and doing their best to heal.
Lord.
Felicity is getting everyone together so they can spend time talking and healing with each other.
Girl, I feel like y'all have been gone for longer than 2 weeks to shoot movies.
It says here, also, it seems they will be selling airbrushed free Felicity t-shirts.
Shut up.
On GoFundMe.com.
Who said that?
/The Admission Mission.
You a lie.
Yeah, I made that part of it.
I was really typing it in. You get on my nerves. Airbrushed. Delete.
Perfect point. Yes, sis, I'm certain that they have seen you missing for shooting whatever. Desperate Housewives had to have taken you away from the fam for longer than 2 weeks, girl.
Yeah, this is really nothing. And of course, people are pissed about it. But I remember when this whole story broke, I did appreciate that Felicity owned up to it.
Agree.
That she was like, you know what? I did do this and it was really fucking wrong of me. I just felt like I was a bad mom if I didn't and blah, 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 and all this shit. I really appreciate people who own up to their mistakes. Mm-hmm. And she didn't do like Aunt Becky and try to dance around it or act like it wasn't that big of a deal or what the fuck ever else. And I agree with John Legend. He tweeted something like, the solution is not that Black people should be getting short sentences too, is that nobody should be going to jail for this dumb shit, because people have been pissed about this 2-week sentence thing. And I agree. I don't think this is something that warrants jail time. What I would rather see, and a $30,000 fine, which is nothing to that family. Yeah. Just feel like it would be so much better if y'all made her pay a substantial fine, a huge one, maybe $500,000. And then it goes to a scholarship for low income kids of color who had to work so hard for that place in school that her daughter took that you paid for. I feel like that would be a much better use of the money. It actually makes the situation right, or it takes a step towards making the situation right. And we're not filling up the prisons for no fucking good reason. 2 weeks in a jail for what? This is so dumb.
Right.
So
it's just further evidence that the legal system in this country is a joke.
But Aunt Becky, I want her ass gone for at least 6 months. Because she got on my nerves with her that whole response to the situation. Aunt Becky worked my nerves.
I read headlines it's just going to put pressure on her sentencing and things like that.
She can go.
Anyways.
Especially since her daughter didn't even fucking want to go to school.
At all.
At least Felicity's daughter was like, bitch, I thought I got in, like, on my own merit.
At all.
That little girl wanted to have her Instagram, fucking YouTube channel and be a influencer and
I'm
have
going to
her
make
makeup
a tutorial
line.
university.
Yes.
So I don't even know what you're talking about, Mom.
She even talked about how she didn't want to go to class, didn't go to class, just was here to drink and go to football games. Like, girl.
Mom, worry about Nikki and Alex. That's what the fuck you do, bitch. I'm not going to fucking school.
Shut up.
On the flip side of justice, Ed Buck is apparently maybe finally going down. He's at least been arrested.
Thank God.
And accused of running a drug house.
Yeah, we know.
Felony count.
The police, man.
Felony counts he's facing are battery, causing serious injury, administering methamphetamine, and maintaining a drug house. This is after the most recent overdose that it says here took place on September 11th, after he allegedly injected a 37-year-old man with meth at his apartment in West Hollywood. This is after the deaths of Jamel Moore and where is the other man's name? 55-year-old Timothy Michael Dean. Black men that were in the same circumstances. One of them wrote a whole story about how he was now addicted to this drug and blamed Ed Buck for it and that kind of stuff because he has been said to pressure men into doing these drugs and injecting them and stuff like that. And two men, at least two that we know of, lost their lives about it. Right. And it really took activists within the LGBTQ community out in California to really like protest and say, hey guys, this big Democratic donor that you guys love so much is out here killing us and having a blast doing it. Right. And nobody's doing anything about it. Like what the fuck is the issue? So
I'm glad, something is finally being done. And it's a totally different story and we have to wait to see whether he actually faces justice. But this is at least the first correct step in the right direction. So glad to see it. It's about fucking time. I guess 3 was the motherfucking charm. And like you said, this is like the number of overdoses that we know about.
What that we know about.
God only knows how many bodies have been dumped in the desert.
Thank you. So, and again, on the topic of this joke-ass legal system, it says on NPR, if convicted, he could face a maximum sentence of 5 years and 8 months in state prison.
For 2 people being dead?
And almost 3. Oh, luckily not 3.
Oh my God.
That's
5 years total. Watch him get 2 weeks like Felicity.
Right.
See,
because you know Felicity is having brunch and going the fuck home.
That's
like
right.
Felicity ain't having more than 2 meals in that bitch
not,
at all.
Period. So
they're about to have a Desperate Housewives rerun, and probably she'll, sit on a panel on When They See Us.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she got released early for overcrowding or whatever. Even though released early from a 2-week sentence is like. Why don't you just pinch her and let her go home? This is just so, white people live in a totally different world than we do.
Why don't you just tell her to hold out her hands and smack them with a ruler?
Right. Like elementary's, make that bitch kneel on rice or something and then go home. Shit. Is that only country people that make their kids kneel on grits?
It might just be country. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
kneeling on grits don't sound that bad till your knees
until you
bloody,
do it.
Right.
My mother specifically went for like the wooden mixing spoons.
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes like a hairbrush in the palm.
Ooh, and hairbrushes are real tricky because they got that thick ass wood on the back usually. So it's like, damn, that will crack your fucking cheekbone. My grandma was good for a switch. And to this day, I ain't never felt nothing worse than a switch.
I feel like nobody wanted their mango trees damaged. That's why because the only trees for us to possibly go get switches from in our yard were mango trees, and we had like maybe it was a cherry tree. Yeah. Every plant that we had in our yard bore fruit or vegetables.
Yeah. I think ours was maybe a pecan tree. Maybe. Ooh, nice. But it could have just been a regular old oak or whatever the fuck. Whatever it was, she picked the thinnest, most lethal switch she could find, stripped that bitch of all its leaves, and tow your ass up. Yep. So.
Classic.
Yeah. Just black people love bonding over the abuse we went through as children.
I mean.
Woo! Anyway,
speaking of legal woes, Dave East is apparently dealing with a misdemeanor battery charge after a 3-way gone wrong in Las Vegas.
No, not Fine-Ass Davies.
So apparently Davies had an appearance at Dre's nightclub. I've never been to Vegas. Don't know how to say this, but I've seen the name of this club before.
Okay.
This nightclub in Vegas, and took two ladies home with him to his hotel room at the Delano.
Okay. It looks like Delano.
And here's where the stories get dicey. So on one side, Davies' side, he and his people claim that one of the ladies involved in the threesome got upset with not getting enough attention.
Enough dick?
I guess.
Okay.
Maybe
he was spending too long with the other girl.
They were real passionate, or I don't know.
Okay.
This is why I feel like threesomes get tricky.
With two girls you just met at that.
I mean, it doesn't say that they just met. Maybe he could have had a connection with one of them. He could have really been dating one of these girls, and who knows? I don't know.
You're right.
They just describe them as two women. But he claims she got upset. They started to argue. She started to fling champagne bottles at him so hard that two of them clocked him in the head, leaving cuts.
Oh, shit.
The woman claims that they simply started to argue in the middle of the sexual encounter. Davies got upset and punched her several times, hitting her on the arm. She ran to the bathroom and called the police, but did not make any mentions of bottles being thrown.
Okay.
It says on wrap up that a third woman entered the room once the argument started, and she claims that Dave was the aggressor. Dave's friend, however, is also a witness in the story and claims that he saw with his eyes the woman throwing bottles at the rapper. It also says here that Dave claims he merely grabbed the woman by her arm and made her leave the room. And he was ordered by a doctor to get a CAT scan after the alleged incident.
God damn. Well, yeah, champagne bottles ain't nothing to fuck with.
At all. Ask the Brett.
I want to know what the other girl in the threesome has to say about this. Where is her opinion? Like, I feel like these other two people who came in after it started, I don't want to hear that. What happened to the bitch who was getting the real good dicking down?
I was so close to an orgasm. And then here comes these niggas.
This hating ass bitch started throwing shit.
Ruined my home. I came right to write my memoir, bitch. So,
I mean, I Googled it real quick and it says that police saw that he had cuts on his head.
Right. I'm assuming that if he says he had cuts on his head, someone may have seen them. If a doctor said he should get a CAT scan, I want to say somebody clocked him in the head with something. Right. Now, that doesn't say who the aggressor in the situation is, but I want to believe.
Does it say who started it?
You did get your bus over the head with something.
Yeah. I don't know what to believe here, but I really want to know what that third woman who was involved in the fucking has to say about this.
I was just trying to get mine, and we in Vegas. I thought what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Does the woman, it doesn't say whether the woman has any bruises or anything.
I didn't read anything about that, but she specifically brought up her arm. Okay. And then there's this comment about him grabbing her by the arm and making her leave, but I didn't see anything about bruises. And they are both dealing with misdemeanor battery, but it says nobody was arrested. So
right. Well, if his people are smart, they took photos of him after this incident so that they can back up what they're claiming, because otherwise it's not going to look good.
If you're a fan of Dave East or whatever, then I guess you can just pay attention to wherever this story goes. I wouldn't be surprised if later you hear about the case being dropped or whatever the fuck, but
I don't know if he has a history of violence either, but I've never heard anything about him like just getting into fights with niggas or starting shit. But that don't mean you ain't capable.
Right. I mean, this is one of those stories where it's literally just like, okay, here's the information we have now, and I will see what else I got to say about it. Right. I don't have an opinion to form from this because I literally don't know what happened. I do know that Hulu just launched that Wu-Tang series where he plays Method Man. So this ain't the time for no bullshit.
Right.
And he apparently jumped on Instagram afterwards and left a photo with a caption that says "New Levels, New Devils." So, good luck, sir, and whatever this is. I hope that you weren't out here putting your hands on women because you.
I truly hope that as well. That's ugly.
And, threesomes are not supposed to end like this. Threesomes are supposed to end with ecstasy
Happiness.
and afterglow
and
possibly some leaked nudes and paternity tests. But
a tape, maybe.
Not violent. Ooh, maybe a tape.
They're supposed to be bottles, but they're supposed to be empty because everybody got drunk.
We haven't had a good celebrity sex tape in a while.
We haven't, because that Kevin Hart one was not good. Like, nobody wanted to see that.
That came out?
Yeah, remember the clip of that came out? That's how he had
They had sex in the tape?
Yeah.
They did?
Yes. That was the whole reason that he got on Instagram or whatever talking about, I've disappointed my family.
I thought that there was just like a tape of him like laying in some girl's lap that wasn't his wife.
No, I'm talking about the one in the hotel room.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know that there was, I know that there was like video proof of him being unfaithful, but I didn't know there was actual sex.
Yeah, because the girl is suing everybody about it.
I did hear about that, but that was news to me when I heard about it. So I'm like, I don't know what.
That don't count. I'm talking about a celebrity we want to see fucking. But yeah, this should have ended. Dave East is so fine. This should have ended totally differently. I know old girl who was getting dick down is pissed. Like, sis,
especially if she didn't get to finish.
I was having a good ass time.
Like, you can wait for everybody to just get their nut and then fight with this nigga. Like, god damn.
Right. Like, girl, you mad because he ain't. Just give him a minute. He'll come back over to you. That's the whole point of a threesome.
Nigga, I would have waited for the cops to go home and everybody to be like cool down and then send this nigga a text like, so can we finish where we left?
I mean, have they banded you up yet?
Can we just,
where you at?
What time the CAT scan over? I can just come to the CAT
just
scan
come
office.
to the ER and just, you just get it back up.
Maybe enough room for two inside of those.
You're so stupid.
Valencia Love, the woman who made headlines earlier this year in February for posting R. Kelly.
Oh my God.
Posting his bond or whatever, his $100,000 shit to get him out of the clink in Cook County back when. As you may know, R. Kelly is still in federal custody, and they snatched him right back up 4 months later for federal charges in New York and in Chicago.
Yep.
And so this story confuses me because I'm reading that she wants her money back, and the judge said, "Girl, shut up," and like is not giving it to her. But then I'm reading here that her attorney, John Collins, is the one who is providing this information that she wants the money back or whatever, because she's worried she's in jeopardy of losing the money to like pay for R. Kelly's attorney's fees and stuff, like whatever, when this case is done.
Yeah.
But then on this same article here on the Chicago Sun-Times, it says that Love, like that's exactly what she plans to do with the money.
What, pay his fees?
It says here, Love told the Chicago Sun-Times that's exactly what she wants to do. Kelly already had reimbursed her $100,000 just 3 days after he posted his bond. He wasn't able to get his money because it was the weekend. And he was the only one who had access to his account. It was basically a loan. Why is it such a big deal? He's already locked up. Why can't the bail money be returned? And it says Love said she wants the money returned so she could give it to R. Kelly's team to cover his legal costs and other expenses. And then it also says that his attorney claims that she paid $50,000 in back child support from him in March, and she claims that she did not.
Okay. So, I mean, that would be incredibly new representation, stupid, but this woman hasn't demonstrated having good sense. The issue here for me is, if R. Kelly really paid you back after 3 days, why the fuck do you want the judge to give you your money back? Like, you already got your money back. I don't really see the issue there. And also, anybody who has ever bonded anybody out knows that you signed that little slip saying that there is an excellent chance you might not get your money back, even if the person doesn't fuck up, because the judge can order that money the judge could order that money to go to R. Kelly's legal fees. Right. So it just seems to me like, sis, you knew if you bond somebody out, you have to have a reasonable expectation that you will never get that money back, because you are signing something saying that you might not. So this is just stupid. Bitch. Like, I heard that her restaurants are suffering, her daycare is suffering or whatever, because people don't want to send their kids to somebody who's stupid. Right, exactly. Maybe that's why she want her $100,000 back, so that she can, live. But sis,
I also read something where she was talking about, or allegedly talking about, how it wasn't her money anyway, and she's not gonna say it's his money or anybody's, but it wasn't hers or something. So I don't know who this lady is, what this lady is fucking doing.
A fool.
And, you know, good luck with you and your efforts, madam.
This man is up on 13 felony counts of, you know, incidents relating to child abuse.
It's looking like they're gonna keep him.
Yeah,
girl.
and you own and operate a daycare. Therefore, I have zero compassion for you in this situation. I just don't. I'm glad you lost your $100,000. I hope you continue to lose money on this until you decide that you are gonna act like you have some goddamn sense. Act like you are somebody who is charged with the care and protection of children. This is just so fucking stupid.
Last thing I wanted to bring up was an amazing music video that I watched earlier today from one Marvin Gaye III. That's right. Marvin Gaye's son has released a music video. Well,
Fresh posted this and I was like, absolutely not.
Apparently this video actually came out in 2013 or something, and it just happened to resurface, which means this is the first time that many niggas have seen it. I know that Robin Thicke wants to fight this nigga so bad. Got to. Because, wow. It is a music video that's apparently called Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. Lauryn Hill and the motherfuckers she covered that song from wept, as did her chakras and everything in between. I'm not going to play the song. You guys can just go and look it up. It's not hard to find. It sounds something kind of like Jessica Black. Was that her name? Friday? Gotta Get Down on Friday?
Not Jessica Black. Something.
Rebecca
Black. Yeah. Ooh,
yep.
Goddamn.
It sounds something like that, or possibly like dragging a machete against a chalkboard. Or
it's so fucking bad. Don't go looking for this.
Digging through gravel with a pitchfork. Something like that. Marvin III also kind of resembles like a Ronald Isley Build-A-Bear. And or like a Ron Isley Pop Funko doll. Which is disturbing. He looked like if you left Ronald Isley on a dashboard of your car while you went into the store.
Yes, and the face kind of got soft and spread out a little bit.
He's dressed sort of like when your uncles from the Caribbean come and go to an American mall for the first time.
I was about to say why he don't look like his daddy, but he's adopted. So no wonder.
And then he spends most of the video chasing after this white woman that looks like Kellyanne Conway. The whole thing's awful.
It's really bad.
I urge you to go and get your life, enjoy it, maybe with a cocktail, have some laughs. It's bad.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch it, like watch it with friends. Make it an event.
Yeah.
Get high or something like that and just enjoy how awful it is. But it is, I had to cut it off after like 30 seconds. I was like, no, the Lord do not want this for my life.
It's like if Marvin Gaye were the tree, he threw that apple.
Like, as far as it could possibly go.
Wow.
Yeah, or it rotted while it was still on the branch and tumbled down to the base of the tree where it decomposed into the earth.
Dreadful.
So bad. Damn.
So, I don't...
Further proof that just because your parents are legendary and iconic in something does not mean you will be able to do the exact same thing in that exact same area.
This is what you doing with your daddy money.
This is what happens on Growing Up Hip Hop every week. Every week. Fat Joe, not Fat Joe's son.
Fat Joe's son.
Yeah, Fat Joe's son. You know, sometimes I forget which one of them passed away. But like all of them who have famous parents who are in the music industry, like they all seem to have this weird expectation on themselves that they're going to be just as poppin' or just as great as their parents were. And it's just like, but literally none of y'all have the range. Young Dirty Bastard? No, sir. Keep that exactly where it's at. We do not need it.
Young Dirty Bastard got a pregnant white girlfriend, a white girlfriend on the side.
That's right.
And trying to date Flavor Flav's black girlfriend.
Yeah.
Black daughter.
Who he don't even talk to.
Apparently he has some sort of a strained relationship with. But...
What's that girl's name? Tasty?
Who?
Toasty. Flavor Flav's daughter name.
Oh, Designer.
Designer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. I first thought it was a
like
nickname.
D''ZYNA or something.
I love niggas.
And she's super, super New York. Like.
Yeah, she definitely is.
Super, super New York. Yeah, that show's crazy. I find it funny when like kids of rap stars want to be rappers as well. And they talk about like growing up in the hood and stuff.
Woo.
And I haven't really listened to anything that Fat Joe's son has done or any of the other kids really on growing up hip hop. But
we do not care.
That's always really fun to me because it's like, nigga, now
please,
you know you've been rich.
Exactly.
So
like the hood, you might have grown up like tangentially through the hood, like you knew niggas who were maybe still in the hood, but you went back to your big old nice ass house in Beverly Hills or whatever, and that is where you stayed.
You told the chef, I don't want crust. I don't want crust.
For the last time, Eduardo.
This is why I felt like Charlie Baltimore daughter said, I just want to DJ. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. And like, I don't see nothing wrong with making your own lane and doing that thing. But so many of y'all just do not have the range to be coming behind your parents and trying to step in the shoes of their legacy.
I could totally see you wanting to follow in their footsteps because I gotta imagine that you're just surrounded by the stuff all of the time. How many kids of superstar artists have been in studios growing up, been backstage at concerts growing up? So I can get that, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna be good at it. Lots of them are. And I like the ones that go in a completely different route. Jaden Smith is nothing like Will Smith in terms of rap.
That is true.
You know what I mean? Willow said, I'm going to be over here and play my guitar and do what I want to do. I'm not whipping my hair for y'all niggas anymore. And she decided that shit when she was like 10. She was like, I don't want to.
It was a cute moment, but I'm all done with that. Thank you so much. I mean, Will is different because he is famous for so many things. Yeah. And not necessarily just the music, but I don't know. It's like really just like anybody else. At a certain point, you have to be real with yourself. Even if you are super talented, you still have to do something to pay the bills. Like, and so if you are like continuously pouring all this money and energy into something that's not popping off, you're going to have to redirect at some point. That's why my TV was on that channel. I don't know why. But Fat Joe was having that conversation with his son.
In the store?
Yes. He was like, we got to focus on the store because, you know, the music thing is expensive and it's not popping off like it's supposed to right now. So it's like, yes, be realistic about this shit. What can be done? What is actually going to be profitable right now? Hallelujah.
That about sums up Hot Tops and whatever, How to Train Your Body. I got to start remembering what I call these things. I write them down and then I immediately delete it after I say it.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's take a break. We'll come right back with your letters. So listen, updating your wardrobe with new clothes can put a dent on your wallet and the environment. And that is why, thankfully, there's ThredUp, the world's largest online thrift store where you can buy and sell secondhand women and kids clothing. Shop over 35,000 of your favorite brands for up to 90% off estimated retail. You can even filter by size and brand to find options that are just perfect for you. If you're looking to clean out your closet, like I'm currently in the middle of doing, simply send your pre-loved items in ThredUp's free clean out kit and they'll take care of everything else. I mean, it's just super useful. Like all you got to do is take all your fall clothes. Like all of my clothes, period.
Right.
Like I'm trying to do, gather them all together and take care of your business.
I just did the same thing, actually. I wonder how many of them clean out kits they can give me because I got a lot of stuff to unload and get rid of. Yeah. Right now, ThredUp is offering our listeners an extra 30% off your first order when you go to thredup.com/read. That is on top of the already low prices. So hurry up and take advantage. thredup.com/READ, thredup.com/read for an extra 30% off today. Terms do apply. Go check them out and let's move on.
Okay, we're back and it is time for your listener letters.
Send your questions to asktheread@gmail.com. We may just read them aloud on this show and also on the TV show. So if you have something that you would like us to answer on our new late night show starting next month, you can send those into the same inbox, maybe on that show as well. Our first one comes from, I'll call her Ebony. She said, I'm married with a 6-year-old son. I've been married to his father for 7 years. We started dating in college and we were both broke as most college kids are, and neither of us completed undergrad. Over the last 7 years, we of course got married, had our son, and during that time we both held down decent jobs, but not enough to cover every expense or even to save. My husband got let go from multiple jobs over the years because he's just not that great at keeping one. So I decided to step up and go into a management position at my own job. I make almost $100,000 a year now, but I work 6 days a week and sometimes 7 and 10 to 14 hours daily. Some of my family and his have started to be shady about this. They ask me when I'm going to make time to cook for my husband and do my wifely duties. They tell me that I'm not spending enough time with my son and other things like that.
Excuse you?
I'm literally doing the best I can, and I make sure when I come home, my son and I have quality time. I give him his baths, buy dinner if I have to, 3 or 4 days out of the week, make sure the house is spotless via a housekeeper, and pay for literally everything that my household needs. Now, my husband does have a job, but it is very low paying, and he has 2 days off, which I think is hurting his ego, and he complains about being at home by himself a lot. This hurts because I feel like I'm being bullied by my family and his when it comes to my job and what I should be doing. Nothing is ever good enough. My question is, how am I supposed to juggle working, paying the bills, having sex with my husband, spending enough time with as much time as my son was possible, and getting through all of this? I'm so tired, y'all, but if I don't work, my son doesn't eat. I'm paying for private school and setting up accounts for college all by myself. Signed, Ebony.
Ebony, this sounds like the typical plight of a woman to me.
Damn, it does though.
I mean, it just does.
Yeah.
Like sometimes this shit reminds me of that statue of, I don't know, is it Greek mythology? You know, the man that's literally holding the planet on his back.
Oh, Atlas?
Oh, yeah.
That is Atlas, right?
I think.
Okay.
Sounds right. Yeah, that's what this shit reminds me of. Like, what are you exactly expected to do? One would think
hold up the whole fucking
that
world. Yeah,
balancing all of these things or attempting to would have the people closest to you at the very least applauding your motherfucking ass and asking, is there anything I can do to help?
Right, that's what you would think, since you're the one bringing in the overwhelming majority of the money. Right,
but of course, you know, there is the male ego and the ripple effect of that, which usually transforms into all of the ways that you are supposedly inadequate when it comes to around the house duties,
right,
and things of that nature. I feel like you are probably going to have to put down each one of your toes. You know what I'm saying? And tell everybody to suck your ass to a straw. Because what the fuck do y'all want? I work 6 to 7 days a week.
And 10 hours a day minimum.
You got 2 days off. It's just like, I'm not even going to break down everything that you just repeated to me. Right. Everybody knows what's up. And this just feels like one of those common things, especially in families of color, where it's like, you need to be doing this and you're not at home enough to do this and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Niggas can work and be seen in the household all of 3 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And be busting their spinal cord, bringing in money, and everybody just treats them like, well, you know, they're doing what they have to do, and he's providing, and still will grill you about, what did you cook for him, and did you suck his dick when he got home, and all this other stuff.
Right.
If that's what you want to do, fine. But I don't understand why when women do the same thing and they're busting their ass and working and bringing, you know, the money home and providing this, then the third, then it's like, oh, well, you need to be. It's just the same antiquated idea that women are supposed to be homemakers, and it doesn't matter if you know, work full-time, part-time, or not at all. You know, you need to make sure that the beds are clean and the kids are washed and fed and the husband isn't horny when he's horny.
Lord.
Like, right. All of these other things. But then if you weren't working, you would get criticized for that.
Yeah.
If you work too much, you get criticized for that. Like, at what point do you just say, suck my dick?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, this family dynamic is really pissing me off because, I mean, I guess I should just be thankful that my family is not like this. But if somebody has to hustle that hard to make sure shit is taken care of, then I feel like everybody else around us would be like trying to help and trying to contribute to the house in whatever way they can, not shitting on you because you can't be at home all the fucking time. Like, it just seems really ridiculous that people are putting all these expectations on you that are literally impossible to fulfill. And so you turning around and making yourself miserable because you're trying to do all this shit. You are busting your ass at work all the fucking time. And then you got his family and your family judging you for working all the time and taking care of the bills. But it seems like they would probably be judging you as well if you didn't work all the time and y'all were like struggling and barely making ends meet and constantly had to ask them for money or help or whatever else.
If the roles were reversed, there would still be something.
Yeah.
You know? So right. I think like I said, a lot of this has to do with the differences probably in workload and income, and maybe your husband feeling a little insecure about that, which is a common thing. Yeah. And I don't even think it's like, oh, you're a typical toxic man for feeling insecure. It's another societal thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
And that makes people feel this way. And people surrounding the family are probably like, oh no, girl, because you need to, especially older members of the family that were completely submerged in those ideologies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I just think it's time for you to really assert yourself to these people. Like, you are a grown-ass woman, and you are allowed to talk to people like you are a grown-ass woman. If they are disrespecting you, I don't care if it's your mama, his mama, whatever the fuck else. If they are talking to you crazy, you need to talk to them crazy right the fuck back. Because, girl, you are busting your ass, breaking your back to make sure your family is taken care of. You said your husband has gotten let go from multiple jobs because he's just not that great at keeping a job. Nigga, you need to be great at keeping a job. You need to straighten the fuck up. It would never be okay for you as a woman to be like, oh, well, I'm just not good at keeping. I just don't like authority. I just don't like clocking in on time.
Facebook be calling you all kinds of bums.
Right. You would be all kind of bum bitch ass mother and all this other shit. So I would have so many words for these people. Like, if you're not contributing to this household, you can kindly shut the fuck up about what I do. If you have an issue with it, feel free to like pour some money or some effort into this home. But I'm a grown ass woman. I'm taking care of my child, giving him the things he needs and deserves. And so I'm going to kindly ask you to leave me the fuck alone while I do that. Like, you don't have to take, I'm not going to say abuse, but you don't have to take this bullshit from family members just because they're family. And I feel like that's what you've been doing. You've just been kind of like letting it roll off your back or internalizing it even. And then your husband is feeling bad because you make so much more than he does. He's going to have to get the fuck over that. Does he want to be broke? Does he want to be fucking broke? Like, it just...
Would you like me to get a job that doesn't make as much money?
Right. So really, if he's not working as many hours every day as you are, he has more days off than you do. So buying dinner and keeping the house clean should be things that he is doing. You paying a housekeeper to do something that he should be doing while he's at home and you are at work. Because if you were at home and he was at work, that would be expected of you. And I'm just really tired of people acting like women have to take care of shit outside the home and then maintain the home too. Bitch, you're going to have to pick one.
I'm sorry. I just get to work 10-hour days every goddamn day.
Every fucking day.
Come home and have to deal with what you're saying I'm not doing.
Right. And might have one day off. Might have one day off.
You're going to have to kiss the crack on my ass.
10 to 14 hours a day. No, ma'am.
I don't even care who I'm talking to. It could be that child. Everybody can kiss my ass tonight.
He needs to pick up the slack there, and your family needs to leave you the fuck alone about it. And if they don't, then I think you should absolutely just tell them.
Nigga, I'm not even pressuring you to go wash no fucking dishes. Right. I literally hired somebody else to do it and minded my literal business, and you still mad at me. If you don't shut the fuck up, I could be pressuring you to wash these goddamn dishes on Saturday since you're not working.
Woo, Chile. All right.
I got you and these kids comfortable, bitch, while I'm busting my motherfucking ass every day, and you want to tell me what I'm not doing. Kiss the back of my feet.
All right.
Heel.
You've been on them feet all day.
After a long walk.
Okay. So this next question comes from, he calls himself T'Challa.
Okay.
Let's see. He is a black cis. Well, the first paragraph is a bunch of like compliments, which I don't usually read, but he is a black cis het man. And he says that he's emailing us because of his girlfriend. It reads, we've been dating a little more than half this year. It's been great. We've met each other's friends and families, and we have a great time together. This is the first relationship I've ever had where my girlfriend actually respects that I'm introverted and sometimes I just need to be alone. My only issue is that when we argue, it is the worst. She has the same exact routine every time where if we argue and I'm right, she starts crying uncontrollably and begging us to stop fighting before we reach a resolution. At first, I didn't say anything, but lately I've been noticing the frequency of this. When we talked about her habit of doing this, she said that it comes from a lot of crazy ex-boyfriends hurting her, so now she's always on alert.
What?
Last weekend, I was on a birthday trip with some friends, and on the last day, she texted me about going with her to a concert for her favorite band. Normally, I don't mind making sacrifices in relationships because I like to see her happy. But with this event, she didn't ask, but demanded.
Oh.
After that, she started accusing me of never trying to care for her interests or being there for her when she needs me, which is false. Unfortunately for her, I'm Haitian and I flipped the fuck out. Sir.
You should have started with her.
When she noticed I was mad, she told me that she was crying too and that she was very upset and she wanted the argument to end.
What?
I talked to my therapist about this yesterday and he told me that sometimes when people are so angry about something, a part of their brain steps away from logic. We discussed the importance.
Facts.
It is. We discussed the importance of not trying to navigate how your responses make people feel because you cannot control other people's emotions, only your own, which helped ease me up. I felt better after therapy, but I'm still having a hard time dealing with our argument. I have anxiety, so for me, when I overthink and worry about something, I feel it to the max. And now I'm wondering if we're in a routine where she thinks it's appropriate to start fights and cry when she doesn't get her way. Sounds like it. I've talked to her about changing her ways of arguing and not being so wildly combative, and she always responds with, I'm working on it or I'm trying to change. I do love her, and honestly, my only problem is when we fight because she's so bad at confrontation. But my question to you both is, where do you believe people should draw the line between trying to encourage someone's inevitable change, or am I enabling her stagnation? How much positivity really has to be sacrificed for someone to let go of their negativity? Have either of you ever had experiences with this where you're aware of someone's bad habits and they keep saying they'll change, but the same thing keeps happening? Keep doing what you're doing. Congrats on the show. Signed, T'Challa.
Well, first of all, shout out to you for being a straight cis nigga from the islands. It's in therapy.
And listens to the read.
I mean,
this is incredible.
May the wonders ever cease. I would have broke up with her ass a long time ago. And I mean, nobody likes, well, I shouldn't say that. Lots of people love arguing, especially in relationships, like thrive off it. In fact, some people don't know how to be in a relationship without arguing.
Yeah.
Like, I think some people they equate arguments to like passion.
Yep.
And then passion is a positive thing.
Right.
So they feel like if we're arguing with each other constantly, it's because like that's the only way that some people know how to love.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Not saying that that's this girl, but anyway.
I mean, that's true. And a lot of people grow up in chaos and argument and all that. So it's all they know. Exactly.
You know, I feel like I'm the type of person who I will, if I confront you about something and I say how I feel about it, we have a conversation and you make the claim that you're going to change. It's only a handful of times that I'm going to see the same repeated behavior with no kind of, what's the word? No kind of adjustment or just apparent tweaking that you're doing. Because nobody can really be like, oh, okay, well, let me switch this thing off that aggravates you.
Right.
Or whatever. Sometimes people need time to progress. But they have to be showing some sort of behavior that makes it clear they've received what y'all talked about and they're putting it into action. Because you can tell me that you're trying to change all the live long day. Some people know that that's just what you're supposed to fucking say and have literally no fucking desire to do anything better. So if you've had this conversation with her and the behavior has consisted, I would say 2-3 more times past that, I would just be, signing my walking papers and leaving them in the hallway.
Listen, just like Beyonce said.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to be arguing with you and going through this dumb dramatic shit every single time we have a disagreement.
Right. I'm wondering, since you do love her so much and you are in therapy, if you can start to bring her to some sessions and y'all can talk with your therapist about how to argue effectively or communicate effectively. Because I am definitely one of those people who's like, if we are having an argument, I do not want to stop the discussion until we come to some sort of resolution. I do not want to, I'm not going to cry and let that be the end of it or whatever else. It's like, we need to resolve this so that we can move on and like continue forward in this relationship.
Right.
So
and
I think
most people I want to say are not like that. So that makes it difficult.
Yeah, I guess it does, because I've definitely been in relationships before where like my issue was every time we had an argument, this nigga, if it got to a certain point, and I mean, he was wrong because I don't argue unless I know I'm right. But when he realized he was wrong and he wasn't going to win the argument, he would be like, oh, I just need to cool off. And we'd just leave. We just walk out, be like, I'm just going to go take a walk. And we just walk out of the door and be like, I can't have this conversation with you no more. And then come back and we're supposed to just keep going like nothing happened. Like it's not like you went and cooled off and then we came back and finished the conversation.
Right.
You went and cooled off and then I was supposed to just act like it didn't happen and we were supposed to just keep going with the night or whatever. Like, no, that's not going to work out. Like you deserve to have a relationship where y'all can talk through conflict. It's ridiculous and unrealistic to expect that y'all never going to argue. But the two of you should be at least, at the bare minimum, committed to trying to understand one another and committed to like each other's happiness. And this is something that is clearly bothering you enough to where you emailed us about it. So I think like when she says I'm working on it or she's trying to change, you kind of need to go further with that. Like, what are you working? How are you working on it? What are you doing to try to change? Because I'm not seeing any sort of progress at all. Like, we're still going through this.
Some people use tools like keywords or phrases or things when you're in those types of situations as an alert to what we discussed. And then whatever the process is of coming down from it. You know what I mean? For a bad example, let's say you have this keyword of like top ramen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when the argument gets to where y'all hate it or it's, you know, repeating the same toxic behavior, you know, someone yells top ramen and you already have like this understanding or you've had this conversation that means here we are and this is what we do to come back from that. That was obviously my really shitty hit getaway of like, I'm just saying like if sometimes it may really take little activities like that you might get from Iyanla or your actual therapist.
That's a much better option.
Yeah, more entertaining, you know, if you want to talk to the grass or whatever Iyanla would have you do. But
put your mouth right there.
Just put it in the hole. I love her. So sometimes you have to do like things like that to help. But I think that you, after a certain amount of experience with it, you might be able to tell whether somebody seems to have the desire to change or whether they're just saying that. And you have to kind of decide. I think the suggestion of possibly having her sit in a session of therapy is a great one. Yeah. There are other things you could think of to, you know, implement some sort of helpful tactic when y'all argue. But if she's just not showing anything, like if you don't see her like bite her tongue or do something that's like showing, okay, see, like you're catching the repeated thing that we go through. Right. If it's just the same thing and the same conversation every single time with no sign of things being different at any time, it's like, child, I could be with somebody else arguing for sense. You know what I mean? Because you're going to argue. It's just inevitable that you're going to have disagreements and argue and things like that. It just happens. But some people have healthier and that's the goal. Ways of getting through those arguments and disagreements, and some people it's just completely toxic.
Not to mention, a lot of girls have learned that if you cry, niggas will drop shit and let it go because they don't want to see you crying or they just want that shit to be done. Like, a lot of girls have learned to do that. And I'm not saying it's not effective. I'm not saying it's not effective. And I'm not even saying that that's what she's doing, or not consciously what she's doing. Because she might really think it's like, oh, I've gotten into really bad arguments with my ex-boyfriend. So when I see something going too far, I just want it to end. But it's very mysterious that she doesn't ever do this when she's right. She doesn't ever start crying because you won't see her side of it and she wants it to end. It's always when you're right and she's wrong that she's just like, oh no. So
I'm telling you, maybe the third cry
you're not
moment.
Gonna do that with me.
I'm gonna be like, look, if you don't suck that shit up and get it up out of my fucking face, no. So,
me before therapy would have been a lot more willing to deal with this. Me now is not tolerating that bullshit at all. At all, sistren. Fucking talk about it.
And get out your feelings if you're wrong or if it's just a disagreement and that person is not really seeing, you know, your side and why you always watch Narcos together and this bitch had the nerve to watch an episode before you got home or whatever the fuck it is that y'all be fighting about. You have to be able to come up with a process in which you deal with disagreements healthily. And like I said, sometimes it takes people actually having a like 1, 2, 3 step that they agree on of what they do when they get to that point, especially if it's situations like this where it's just like every time we argue, it's bad, it's stupid, and nothing productive ever comes of it.
Right. And I would say if she's not willing to go to therapy and not willing to do any sort of self-help on this, you know, with whatever books and websites that you can get assistance from, that sort of thing, then you already know what to do. It's time to break up with that bitch before it get too cold so you can find somebody else to snuggle with during the winter months, and you won't have to buy a Christmas present for somebody you don't like.
Period.
Yeah. Good luck to you, sir. Our last question comes from Marsha, who says, I have a Facebook friend from elementary school who's gay. He's not openly gay online, but it's clear to those who are paying attention. He seems to be doing...
Got it. Right.
I have a couple friends like that. He seems to be doing well in life, has a great career, and seems happy. When we were little, around 10 years old, other classmates started mocking him in the way that kids do when they can tell that somebody's gay. I never openly mocked him because we were friends, but I also never stopped them, and I sometimes laughed, so in my mind, I'm just as guilty. It wasn't until high school that I became more defensive of my friends and anyone who was being mocked for their sexuality. We don't live in the same state now, and I never see him. Excuse me. We share similar beliefs. We're both raised very much in the church, and we're cordial now, but I feel guilty about my behavior before I knew to do any better. Do you think it's okay for me to send him an apology? Would you want to hear an apology from people who made fun of you as kids? Would it make a difference, or would it open old wounds? I am okay with living with that guilt if it means not hurting him further. Would it matter to you to get a 25-year-old apology? Thanks. When did I give her, Marsha?
I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. This is really sweet of you.
Yeah, I can't really speak for your friend because I don't know. I want to say the chances of you opening up those old wounds rather than creating a moment that he can appreciate, I want to say that's probably low.
I think so too.
Odds are, like, if I had to guess, odds are his reaction may be something like, girl, what? Okay, thank you, that's sweet. You know what I mean? I don't, especially if he seems to be in good spirits, or, you know what I'm saying, and not like loathing himself as many people who struggle with their sexuality do. But I think that if that's something you have on your heart, you should share it with him. Yeah. I don't think you have to go into detail. Remember that one time this person pushed you and you scraped your knee? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think you can just offer him a general apology because you know better and it bothers you that you are even involved with something that you know better about now.
Right.
And I think he would appreciate it. But
yeah, I think so too.
You can even maybe preface it by saying, I'm not trying to like bring you back to a place, but I just wanted you to know that like I love you and feel bad about it. And, you know,
I mean, you said this is 25 years old. And so I suspect that he doesn't even remember that you know, used to laugh occasionally at some of these jokes when people were teasing him or mocking him. Right. But I was going to say there is also a really good chance that he does.
Oh, yeah.
And there is, I think I did go through this and I
remember specific bullying from elementary school.
Not elementary school, but middle school, definitely. I went through a lot. And none of those people have reached out to me to apologize, as far as I know.
I don't care.
Right. And but if they did, I would appreciate it. Like, if some of the people who like really made life hell for me during that time reached out and were like, yo, I was a shithead when we were in 7th grade and I really regret that. And I'm sorry I put you through that. Like, no, you do not matter to me anymore. I actually can't even think of none of y'all's names right now. But if you did that, I would really appreciate it.
Right.
Like, thank you.
I'm not losing no sleep over
not at all.
A lot of that.
No, girl, I'm doing so good.
I did, in fact, have people I considered friends in middle school and sometimes in high school that were doing messy stuff behind the scenes and just participating in bullying and trying to put me on blast for my sexuality and all kinds of other things. And back then it was awful. Now I don't even, like you said, I don't remember most of y'all. I don't remember most of those incidents or whatever. And I'm fine. But yeah, if I were to randomly get a DM one time and be like, I'm really sorry that blank, 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 I'd be like, oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
I think the fact that it's weighing on your spirit means that you should do it.
Yeah.
And he may never respond or whatever, but you can feel better knowing that you put that out into the universe and tried to make amends.
I'd try to call him.
If you have his number, I mean, I don't know how close they are.
Yeah,
but you can call people on Facebook now and all that shit. I know. I deleted my Facebook. There's too much going on that fucking website.
I just left a comment on Facebook a couple of days ago for the first time in years, and all it said was, "Still don't get it. Way too many buttons." I don't know what this website is.
You are such an uncle.
Hey guys. So yeah,
I had to delete mine because I kept getting a bunch of people from high school and college who were like either indifferent towards me or like kind of made fun of me or whatever. All of a sudden these niggas is popping up and they so proud of me and all this other bullshit.
I've gotten a couple of those.
Oh, I see you out here, and I'm like, you were a bitch, but okay. Like, but I don't need no more of those messages from them people.
Most of the people who reach out to me that I haven't spoken to since school were people that I actually got along well with and things like that. And I'm just like, oh, hey, thank you so much and things like that. But every now and then I have seen people be like, oh yeah, I remember.
That's my girl, my classmate Crystal out here. Like, oh, please.
We was in Earth Science together. And you used to always have that hoodie on.
You voted me most clueless in our senior superlatives. Please stop.
Like,
you did not like me.
I'm not holding on to it, but I also haven't forgotten.
Right. I don't. So. I still, when your name pops up in that Facebook inbox, I do remember you and the shit you did. So, like, it's fine to be proud of me, but you need to send a private message of, you know, I was a bitch and I'm sorry for that.
Or just leave me alone.
Or even better, because listen, I told you, deleted that fucking Facebook. I don't want no more than fucking messages. I don't want to keep in touch. All right. That wraps up the questions for this week. Send yours again to asktheread@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, this week's episode is also being brought to you by Stance Socks. I'm obsessed with Stance Socks. I love them. Their designs are always incredible and comfortable, and a lot of times they have cool collaborations with like Marvel. I still have some sexy Rihanna Stance Socks.
Oh, yes.
And we've got Wu-Tang, Basquiat, all kinds of stuff. Their socks are amazing. In fact, in a recent abrasion test, Stance's basic casual sock was more than 3 times more durable than the competitors. From Stance's casual everyday styles like no-shows and crews to their performance athletic products, there's nothing like Stance. Buy them by the pair, or you can sign up for a subscription that's based on your preferences. Stance is also passionate about giving back from their annual support of Socks for Heroes, which sends fresh socks to the deployed military, to their annual sponsorship of the World Adaptive Surf Championship. And like I said, they have awesome collabs and stuff like that. You can go over to the website and see lots of different stuff they have. And I'm kind of a sock fan.
You always have some jazzy socks, something new and cute and interesting. I'm definitely going to go over and order myself some. I want these no-shows and then the performance athletic socks. You just really don't know how important socks are when working out until you wear the wrong one and you're like, oh girl, this is not it.
Worst day of my life.
You can also try Stance. You won't want to put anything else on your feet ever again. There's a reason that they changed the sock game forever. We want them to try you for yourself, so go ahead and get a free pair of socks with your purchase at stance.com/read. That is stance.com/READ, because if they're not Stance, girl, they're just socks. Womp. Let's move on.
This week's episode is also being brought to you by Talkspace, because we all need a little somebody to talk to. And Talkspace has plenty of people who can support you through rough patches or just everyday ups and downs in your life. You can talk all of the shit about your boss and how that bitch keeps trying you, whatever it is you need to talk about. Your mama keep bothering you about when you go have a baby.
Yep.
Your dad keep calling you for money. Whatever it is, Talkspace is therapy for how we live today. Because it's mobile, it's affordable, and it's available whenever you need it. You can use your phone to send unlimited text, audio, picture, or video messages from anywhere at any time. And you can provide Talkspace with your preferences for therapy, and Talkspace will match you with one of their 5,000 plus therapists the very same day. And 1 month of therapy on the Talkspace platform costs about the same amount as a single face-to-face session.
True. No
matter what you're going through, you are not alone. So you can join more than 1 million people who feel happier with Talkspace.
Yes, I truly do love Talkspace. I will forever sing their praises because they just really help me get through a challenging time. And I'm constantly getting emails and tweets and comments from y'all talking about how your Talkspace therapist has helped you to grow and process some of the shit that's happened in your life. Again, Talkspace has more than 5,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing the challenges that we all face. So to get started and match with your perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy, go to Talkspace.com and use code READ to get $65 off your first month. Again, that's code READ, Talkspace.com. Let them know we sent you. And let's wrap up the show.
We're back, and it's now time for The Read.
It is.
You can go first.
Okay. I am going to pass my read this week.
Pass the read like we used to.
And I really love this one. It came through to the inbox, and I just think it is incredible and something that needs to be talked about. So I'm really glad this girl spelled it out. This comes from Jessica, and she said, I've been seeing nonstop posts on Facebook. Wow, Facebook is truly the dredges of the internet.
That keeps on taking.
I've been seeing nonstop posts on Facebook from people talking shit about homeless people, and when I try to point out that who they should really be mad at are the billionaires that keep us all in poverty, they ask stupid shit like, how did billionaires hurt you? How did billionaires hurt me? Well, first of all, it's not exactly about me because I'm not a selfish asshole who only thinks of myself. But I don't know, maybe destroying the planet, dumping thousands of gallons of waste into our water, pumping out dangerous toxins and gases into our atmosphere, overproducing products that just wind up in landfills, causing climate change that is going to kill us all in a few short decades if these bastards don't stop building bunkers and start focusing on reversing the damage. Shit like that. How about the taxes they avoid paying into the system like everybody else?
Like, why is this a question?
The lobbying of politicians to not contribute their fair share to society, meaning social services get cut, infrastructure falls apart, and we can't fight climate change. The endless wars they fund to steal oil and other resources from brown people, those who make millions producing weapons of mass destruction in order to devastate and murder innocent bystanders for profit. How about the poverty wages they pay to the majority of their employees that force working citizens to work overtime, destroying the 40-hour work week your beloved unions fought for, and take public assistance which they're shamed mercilessly for? How about all the foreign employees who they pay pennies an hour to, creating such poor work conditions that they have suicide nets at work and then pollute our air and oceans even more because producing goods is still cheaper despite having to ship it overseas from these countries that have laxer environmental laws? Maybe it's the fact that they hoard wealth and could single-handedly feed and house the entire world, but instead they leave their 5 houses empty for most of the year when there are people sleeping in the streets, and leave their billions sitting in banks when people have to beg for spare change. How about the fact that they overproduce food and then throw it away instead of giving to hungry people? They clear-cutting vital forests, producing millions of pounds of methane gas, producing carbon, and reducing the oxygen we need to breathe.
Y'all asked the wrong bitch.
Or how about the pharmaceutical companies and for-profit insurance companies that get people addicted to opiates, charge hundreds of dollars for life-saving insulin, and charge an arm and a leg for medical care? They do their damnedest to deny every claim, sending people to the poorhouse just so they can get medical care to survive. Or the banks that give out predatory loans where the interest costs as much as the initial loan, where they'll put you out on the street if you lose your job and can't make mortgage payments, where they intentionally create bubbles to burst so that they can buy up even more property and sell it to poor people at twice the price. The predators who saddle teenagers with tens of thousands of dollars in student debt for worthless degrees, which they can't get rid of with a bankruptcy. I could go on. Damn, girl. Billionaires are the true leeches of society. They are single-handedly destroying our planet and depriving our people, but you're too busy disparaging the homeless to focus on the real enemy. The real question is, what have billionaires ever done for you that makes you want to lick the dog shit off their boots? You supposedly have suffered and scraped and clawed and broken your back under them. Yet you spend your time ignoring the real criminals and harassing poor people who have zero power and so little money they have to suck up their pride and ask for spare change. You're duped and it's sad. I pity you because you're a complete fool and a sucker. You work? Good for you, bitch. Do you want a cookie? Most of us work, but again, some of us can't, and your hateful ass just wants them to die of starvation and exposure. You revel in the idea that you're better than people at the lowest rungs of society. You think you're psychic and can tell a person's needs and ability levels just by looking at them. You suck the toes of a class of people who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. You're an idiot. You're the kind of centrist who votes against their own best interests because they're too stupid to see the real enemy. You're the type of person who starts class wars against their own people when you're one emergency away from becoming homeless yourself. Get over yourself. You're a pathetic waste who will have a lot of explaining to do when you meet your maker. Jesus helped the poor, addicted, and the quote-unquote lazy. Meanwhile, what did a panhandler do to me? Take 5 seconds of my time asking for change? The audacity! There's a special place in hell for you classic sacks of shit, and I'm sick of your willful ignorance. Thanks, Jessica. I think you pretty much covered it there, sis. I think you pretty much covered it there.
It's like she looked at her watch and said, you know what? I, in fact, have time.
I do on today have it. And I know people do this because they aspire to also be billionaires, and they see the very few stories of people who went from nothing to billionaire status, and they think they can do the same.
But y'all be the same ones who then be dragging Lizzo because she said somebody stole her food, and how dare she because she got money and she could have just reordered it. When the bitch ain't never steal her food in the first goddamn place. Like, everybody tried to make it be like, you're attacking desperate people. Sometimes people need the food that they're stealing and stuff. And I'm like, first of all, most times The person didn't steal the food. They just didn't hear from you and they were
something happened.
Directed to leave. But in fact, many people do steal these. But I've had my food stolen from me
too.
when I've ordered. And I believe that niggas just take it because they want it. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I just think, Jessica, you really laid out the real issues here. I feel like if we, and this is the thing, there are way more of us than there are of them. And if we could just all get on the same page about this, we could easily overthrow these motherfuckers. If we could just all get together on this and realize that the real problem is people who earn hundreds of millions of dollars every year strictly off interest and do bullshit like own 7 yachts and shit like that while children are in the streets, can't eat, and people are homeless. Like, it's just literally this country, this society, this world is a fucking mess. And thank you, Jessica, for laying it all out for the people out there who still weirdly defend billionaires to this day while clocking in and working 10 hours a day and earning like $38,000 a year. I just think that some people on the internet will say shit that don't make sense, ask questions that don't make sense, or questions that they already know the answer to, just to be the devil's advocate, just to be the person who is arguing with you because they can, and they're wherever away from you that you can't have it said to your face,
right?
You know, so that's why I hardly even engage in a lot of that.
Yeah, because people just be talking.
I mean, honey, as I said, they asked the wrong person.
But blaming the people who have the absolute least, it's like, girl,
what has a billionaire ever done to you? Excuse me?
Just, take a look around at this society.
The ones we're talking about?
It's one of these big ass car makers, is GM or somebody, got all these workers on strike right now because they don't want to pay them health insurance. It's just like a company that posted $36 billion in profit or whatever. It's like, my God. All right.
Well,
thank you, Jessica.
I just have a couple points to make for 2 of these, I guess, are reads. 2 of them are just things that have irked me recently. First one, I don't know if y'all saw this clip of this black lady in Target who was fussing at a woman who seems to be Caucasian after she accused this lady, this white woman, of like reaching over her daughter or something like that, and just basically having no respect for other people's space, proximity, and lives. She got upset with this lady for not saying excuse me and just for, allegedly being an overall bitch in Target.
Reaching over her child.
Cussed her the fuck out and threatened to put hands on her. And of course, this woman is recording her with her phone, talking about how she's going to send it to the police, and doing the thing that annoys me the absolute most about these instances, which is bringing up the child and how your child is watching this and great example and blah, blah, blah. Here's the problem, right? White women, y'all gotta stop going out and white people, but white women do this a lot. Going out and antagonizing niggas. And when we rightfully respond to it, then it's, oh my goodness, look at you acting, especially when you're talking about people and their children. A lot of times you wouldn't even get this type of response if you were just an asshole to me. But the fact that you're an asshole to my kid or around my kid, I can't understand where you lose common sense if you ever had it. Yeah. In these types of situations. I don't even have a kid, nor do I know that I want to have a kid. But I know that if I'm out, it ain't even got to be my child. It could be your kid that I'm taking, that I'm in Target with. You know what I'm saying? It could be Jade's child. It could be anybody's kid, a niece, nephew, anybody. If I'm out and I am the guardian of this child and you do anything aggressive or anything that I don't like in the vicinity of this kid, I'm absolutely going to be on the extreme defense. So I'm imagining if we're talking about my motherfucking kid that I shoved out of my uterus and you got the nerve to act like you ain't got no motherfucking home training. Now I know plenty of your Caucasian ass parents didn't tell you anything about please, thank you, may I, or excuse me, but bitch, you better act like you got some motherfucking sense when you're in the department stores next to me, bitch, because I don't give a fuck about none of what you're talking about or my child seeing this and oh well, your daughter is seeing you. Bitch, I'll kick your fucking teeth out and make a necklace for my daughter with them, bitch. While you talking all of this shit, keep playing with me. Stop fucking with black people in the streets and then threatening to call the cops when we respond the way that human beings would naturally respond to being fucked with.
Yeah.
We already tired of y'all when it comes to everything else affiliated with whiteness and it oppressing us.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're going to have an attitude, bitch, you better learn how to say those fucking words when you're around my kid. And fuck New York Scanner as well for however they report it. They always like to post these very slanted. I read that they're like run by cops or ex-cops or whatever.
Of course.
So that explains all of the racially tilted headlines or whatever that you use when you do report these things. But literally nobody that I saw in that thread felt bad for that bitch, and everybody was in full support of that woman. We're tired. Stop being an asshole and expecting that nobody should have the right to say anything to you.
And it took her 10 seconds to bring up jail and sending this woman to jail. Girl. You know what you could have also done? Just said excuse me when you were reaching over somebody.
Act like you have basic fucking
It's
manners.
basic common decency.
That is it.
Woo.
I brought this up on Twitter recently. I just wanted to echo the sentiment on here. Sometimes from friends and family, when you're going through something and you're venting to them about it, you don't need for them to give you unconditional optimism back. I don't always need for you to tell me about the silver lining. You know what I'm saying? I don't always need to look at the bright side. I don't always desire to, look at the half full glass. Sometimes I just want to vent about the bullshit that I'm going through, and I just need for you to understand it, acknowledge it, and leave it at that. Sometimes, damn, that's fucked up, is adequate. Like, I feel like I know that most times it's coming from a positive place, and it's just people that care about you trying to be encouraging. But I think that sometimes people miss how dismissive it can be, because I literally have conversations with people sometimes face to face in these situations, and I can watch them waiting for me to pause so that they can say something kind. I don't care about that. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to recognize what I'm going through, and all you have to do sometimes is be like, that's fucked up, friend. I'm sorry you're going through that. You want some chips? I don't need you to tell me about all of the things I should be grateful for and thankful for and all of this. Sometimes that is the case. Sometimes you do need encouragement. Sometimes you do need for somebody to woo, pat you on the back and tell you that, butterflies and rainbows. And I feel like a lot of time, if I don't flat out ask you for it, there are often context clues within what I'm saying that may say I'm seeking some sort of a response. But even if you're not sure, you could be like, you want my take on it? I do that.
Oh, yeah. You could always just ask.
You could just be like, you want me to tell you what I think, or do you just want to get it out?
Yeah.
I think that, I think it's a normal thing. A lot of people do this as friends because we just feel like that's what we're supposed to do. And then some people are just extremely optimistic.
Yeah, these eternal optimists.
The Rose Nyland motherfuckers that wake up and nothing's ever wrong with the world. And that's a beautiful quality. I wish I understood it,
Wish I could relate.
Or wish I could relate or identify. And so I get that, and I love people that, just try to make people feel better. But sometimes we don't necessarily want to feel better in that moment as much as we want to just acknowledge that something sucks and verbally say to someone why it sucks.
Yeah.
That's all. So just next time that you are waiting for your homegirl, homeboy, mama, daddy, cousin, friend, sister, whoever, cousin, blah, 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 to finish venting so that you can tell them how great the world is, pause and think twice. Because maybe they just want you to agree that they're going through some bullshit and then watch a fucking marathon of Blackish or whatever. Can't wait for that to come back.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be real good.
Now, the two things that irk me shouldn't take too long. This vape ban that the country is already seeming to lean into. Well, they say 7 people have been reported dead due to illnesses or lung diseases.
They putting vitamin E oil or something in these vape cartridges.
These vape cartridges that niggas are buying off of the street and stuff. And just find it interesting that we're so quick to be banning e-cigarettes and vapes and all this stuff. And you can just still go out and buy cigarettes.
Well, I
guns.
was going to say, or even alcohol.
You know, like, I don't know.
These things all kill way more people.
Wow, that's
really weird.
It's very strange.
So you can make moves quickly when something is going wrong. So that is a thing you're capable of. Did not know that.
Like all of the shithole countries, as the president calls them, when they're on fire and destitute. And don't hear anything from anybody. But Notre Dame. Yeah,
because he's not letting the Bahamians in. Which I'm not surprised. And honestly, y'all probably better off not coming over here with this motherfucker in charge.
Listen,
I just hate him so much.
What I found recently puts me at peace with some of his fuckery. Like I think I just read that he said something about the Obamas should be investigated for their Netflix deal. I think
that was hilarious.
What puts my mind at ease a little bit, and I'm hoping that he will be gone soon so that I don't have to keep doing this for another 4 years or whatever.
Please, Lord.
I'd like to think that there is a little alien that lives in his head and is controlling all of his behavior with levers and buttons and is just on our planet to troll the fuck out of me.
Okay.
And that is why he says and does all of this dumb shit.
Okay.
It then brings me a tiny bit of
come on, solace.
A little bit of humor and solace in my make-believe idea that his brain is being operated by Gazoo or whatever that little green man from the Flintstones
I was thinking of the little green man. That is so crazy. Yeah. Or like Plankton off of SpongeBob.
Yes. I think Plankton did that once.
Yeah.
So
like there's just a little Plankton inside of Trump's head. And we're like, fuck humans.
With a little robot and it's just moving him around and blowing the wig to one side sometimes and just trolling us. It makes me feel better. You should try it.
Okay.
Let me know if it
I actually think that's going to help me a lot. That is so good.
Because sometimes you see what he says or the things that he does, and it's like, how are you? I mean, we know it's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
But then other times it's like, you're really the president, and you said that.
Yep.
So it helps me out.
And white people are really not going to do nothing about
it.
We still see it's happening, and it's just not. Oh my God. I really have lost all hope in this fucking country. I really have. Right.
Where can there be
whatever
hope?
Shred I had that our government could take care of itself is gone.
I almost got a little bit of hope when I saw that Rumi knows some of her animal sounds now.
Now that
brought me a bit of joy.
That brought a lot of happiness to my life. Blue Ivy's showing off her Circle of Life Kenya outfit. I'm like, this is the content I needed. Thank you, Beyonce, for this ABC special. But the world is still trash.
Last but not least, the trailer for Raising Dion just came out. Those of you may know Raising Dion as a comic that came out many years ago about a black single mother. I believe she was a single mother. Because it seems like I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Black single mother raising a young boy, a young son who has superpowers and dealing with that while trying to dodge shadowy government agents that are trying to come for him and stuff like that. And I'd say the trailer came out maybe 4 years ago. And I was immediately in love with that. Anybody who knows me knows I love superhero shit, supernatural stuff, whatever. All of it, fantasy, sign me up. But the fact that we see a black kid, like a little, because the Dion character looks like he may be 8, like a really young child. And his black ass mama raising him and trying to deal with all of these powers and stuff that he has. And I just fell in love with it. And then recently it was announced that Michael B. Jordan was producing a Netflix series based on the same thing. So the trailer for that just came out maybe today or yesterday. And lo and behold, I pull it up and the mother in the Netflix show looks nothing like the mother from the original trailer.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that I expected for them to cast the woman who played the mom in the first trailer.
Yeah.
It's just the woman from the original trailer was a darker skinned lady.
Yep.
And the family dynamic between the two of them was so black. You know what I'm saying? Like at one point, she's like drying Dion off after he got out of the shower or something, I guess. And he teleports away from her, then runs off. And she says something like, Dion, I'm not playing. Like it was like that. And I craved it. So when I heard that they were making a show out of it, I just couldn't wait to see it. And then I see this light-skinned lady, very fair-skinned lady with, you know...
They love doing this.
Her white best friend or whatever. And Michael B. Jordan, I guess, is playing the dad who is away somewhere. And it looks good. Like, the show itself looks good. I'm still going to watch it and whatnot. And I'm not trying to dismiss any, you know, light-skinned people of their blackness. What is irksome to me is just that it's yet again another example of unnecessarily lightening a character in a show, and I'm not certain why.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed how those characters from that original trailer looked like a mom and her kid that I would have seen in the park in Harlem or something like that. Yeah. And it's not to say that this is different. It just felt so specific at the time. And now it just feels like the same thing that Hollywood does with black media.
Just another instance of light washing.
I just didn't understand the purpose of it. But again, I'm still going to watch it. It's still a black mama raising a black kid with superpowers. The special effects and stuff look great. Although the special effects in that trailer looked great too. So altogether, it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent show and I'm going to give it a chance. But I just found that to be so like, exhale. Like, really? Like, come on. You mean to tell me y'all couldn't find no chocolate sister to play this role, girl? Come on.
Of course you could have. I blame Donald Trump.
Why not?
Sure.
I blame Betsy DeVos. You know, like
accurate.
So
fuck that
you,
bitch
Betsy.
as well.
So that's it for me.
Kellyanne Conway's lying ass.
Right. Get your ass out of Marvin Gaye's video and get your ass somewhere with some sense.
Sometimes I think about how Ayanna Presley called Kellyanne Conway Distraction Becky, and I just laugh.
Yeah,
I just let that take me right the fuck on out.
None of them are as good as Talcum X. Talcum X is literally the best.
Listen, Talcum X been cutting the fuck up lately. But, you know, I already
He's got a special lady in his life to defend them. Mama, let me tell you something. Mama hopped in front of her computer and said,
somebody put Thurgood Partial in my mentions and I
excuse me?
T'Chaka. Listen, I cussed that motherfucker out a long time ago, and whatever I said then, I'm sure I still stand by. But y'all been coming for his neck here lately, and I am cackling.
His wife said,
"Change the bio and everything, child." First of all, my name is Coretta Scott King.
Girl, go sit down.
All right, that wraps up this week's episode of The Read. Make sure you check out our sponsors, ThredUp. Updating your wardrobe with new clothes can put a dent in your wallet and the environment, but with ThredUp, the world's largest online thrift store, you can shop over 35,000 of your favorite brands for up to 90% off estimated retail price. Get 30% off your first order when you go to thredup.com/theread on top of their already low prices. Again, that's thredup.com/READ for an extra 30% off today. Terms do apply. Make sure you check us out at thisistheread.com. Our social media profiles are at thisistheread. Our talk show begins October 11th on Fuse. Please tune in and watch that if you want. And what else? Do we have any news this week?
Yes. Starting next week, the podcast is going to be released on a new day.
True.
As we are getting ready to start filming for the talk show. We've had to adjust the day that we record the podcast because we do want to continue giving you both of them. So,
yeah, 2 checks.
Next week, you can hear The Read. Never. No. You can hear...
You ain't shit.
Next week's episode of The Read will be coming out on Tuesday.
Yes, September 24th.
And at least for
probably the rest of the
year, it'll be coming out on Tuesday. And who knows? If we like it and y'all like it, it may stay that way, or we may go back to Thursday in between seasons or whatnot. Who knows? Who knows? But as of next week and the weeks to follow...
Yes.
Tuesday is the day that you can hear this podcast. Spread the word. I'm sure that some of y'all won't realize the change has been made until next year. So.
Right. Be like, what? I don't even check for podcasts till Friday. That's fine as well. But for those of you who like listen as soon as it comes out, yes, Tuesdays now instead of Thursdays. And thanks so much for listening and supporting, because y'all listening to the podcast is the reason we have a talk show. So
yeah, and lots of work to do.
Yeah, lots. This is not not like easy. You don't just snap your fingers and have a TV show, but yeah, we're doing it, and I think y'all are gonna like it. Okay. Anything else before we get out of here? We're right under 2 hours. Amen.
Flavor Flav admits he used to spend over $2,000 daily on crack and cocaine.
Oh, we knew that. Wait, hold on. 2 million or 2,000?
2,000.
Oh, I was about to say, bitch, 2 million. How do you even still have a nasal cavity? 2,000. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that sounds right.
No, I think that's about it. Go have fun this weekend and stuff like that, girls. And we will see you on Tuesday next week with some more bullshit.
Bye, y'all.